Roddy's?
Roddy.
Roddy. Okay. Mr. Roddy, good afternoon. Welcome to Bonaire.
Good afternoon. Thank you for welcoming me to Bonaire.
Is this the first time on Bonaire?
My first time being here in Bonaire. I've been here from since Sunday, and I had the opportunity to visit. We rented a car and we did the whole tour, drive right around, and it's a very nice country. I love it.
What you see in the tour? You can tell me that and see for sure that you was in the tour.
Well, one of the things I can remember for sure is the 1,000 steps.
Okay, you know what is the 1,000 they use it?
No, I don't know. I read something about it, but I mean that was before I came here.
Okay.
So yeah, but then I realized okay, it was 1,000 steps, but at the same time, it's like 60 something steps in reality. But it had to have something to do with slavery or something. No, all right, all
It's
right.
just about the diving. When they go dive, they go with all the tanks and all those things down, and when they go up, they say, "Hey, this is like a 1,000 step."
Oh, okay.
That's the
That would make sense. That would make sense. That would make sense. Yeah.
yeah, because it will be heavy when you finish to dive, and when you come up with all the equipment, it will be heavy to go up.
After being like almost zero gravity on the water, right? Yeah, I could understand that.
Okay. I hear that you was before in after this camera. Right now you're front. What you can tell me about this?
Pertaining to being behind the camera.
Yeah.
You want my history behind the camera, really?
Not the whole 4 hours, but you can do it in a short time.
I could tell you very short. At the age of I would say 17, 18 years old. But from before, I was always interested in television, radio, anything to do with broadcasting, telephones, and so on. So as a kid, I would always be messing with anything that is electronics, trying to understand broadcasting and so on. And while working a summer job at a cellular phone company back home in St. Martin, I was not introduced to. I met a guy, a gentleman, who was just like 2 days before in the newspaper speaking about him launching, his own TV station. And just so happened, I saw him like 2 days after in our office. Just walking out of the office, I was like, "Oh man, that's the guy. I saw him in the newspaper. He's starting a TV station." So knowing me, I would if I want to learn something, I usually just approach the person who's whatever they're doing. I would approach that person and hang around them and learn, ask questions and learn whatever they're doing. So I met the guy. I introduced myself to him. Told him, hey, I saw that you're launching a TV station. I would like to learn something about television. And he was like, well, if you're interested, here's the address of the studio. You can come along, and that was it. And from that, every day I was there. I helped them put together all the equipment. Before that was, they had old machines, like U-matic, Geotic, Super VHS, and so on. Yeah, the big tapes and so on. But it was so exciting for me because when I got there, everything was in small pieces. And then after a while, by putting things together and then connecting and having, understanding how everything works, and it was way more than I thought. TBC and time-based corrector or all those blackbirds and yeah. So yeah, exactly. And so after a while, it was amazing. It was amazing, and that was first just being, playing the videos on air and playing the commercials from one tape to the next. And what happened, getting behind the camera was actually by accident. We used to have the lottery was pre-recorded. And there was a guy who would go and pre-record, who would record the lottery, and we would bring it back, like just like 5 minutes after, and we would play the lottery. And that day, one evening, the gentleman who normally goes to record the lottery and bring it back to the studio, he didn't come to work. So yeah, and actually the one of the guys who was working, the head technician, he used to be the controller for the machines. So he was like, okay, well, I have to control the machines. You need to take a camera and you need to come with me and we're going to the lottery and you have to record. And his name was Eugenio Williams. I was like, he was from Curacao. And I was like, Mr. Williams, I don't know anything about a camera. He was like, don't worry, you'll be okay, come.
Yeah, man.
It was an
Always
old,
the same
yes,
thing.
always the same. It was
You
a
know, don't
old,
worry.
don't worry, yes, exactly. And it was, I can remember, it's an old Sony camera. It's from the 80s.
80s.
Yeah, it was originally one of those cameras where you would have the recorder with it. So you have to, yeah.
You have to
Plug it in, exactly. But then what he had was a VCR recorder connected to the camera and plug it in and we record. And so when I went to the office where they recorded, he told me, he was like, okay, listen, this is what you have to do. You zoom in, then you zoom out, then you zoom into the balls, and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, zoom back out. And just because it was just basically the same thing you have to do all the time. So before the recording, the actual, lottery play, I did it a couple of times, practicing. And when we started recording, I mean, I was shaking as hell, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
because you like to do it good.
I have to do good.
Yeah.
I learned to white balance on the spot, like 15 minutes before and everything. I didn't know anything about these things. And from there, from the first time, that was it. The guy who used to do the recording, he was like, "Oh, you did that? Oh, I'm not doing it anymore." And he did something else.
Say thank you.
Yeah, exactly. And from that, every day I got into, I had to record, and after that was, do other stuff with the camera, and behind that, I remember one time there was a carnival, and the studio was right in front where the carnival parade was supposed to pass. And I took it on myself to run a cable where the parade was passing, run a cable outside, get the camera on, and had everything live without even asking my boss. He was a bit pissed off because I kind of did some of my own stuff, but that thing.
For them, always, if you do something good,
Yes.
they don't like to see that.
And if it's not their idea, then it's a problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, nice to hear a little bit the story about you behind the camera. But what you say, you'll be in a Toastmaster right now, so you're in front of the camera.
Yes. And being in front of the camera started before Toastmaster. It started a few years ago, and again, because there was, I usually would have a problem.
Same problem always when they have no people, you have to come to the front.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes, you need a journalist, you need someone to come and do interviews and so on, just like what you're doing.
Yeah, and the show have to go on.
Exactly. And a lot of times I would have that problem, or maybe the job don't want to hire a new person, so you find yourself. The thing that bothered me the most is going to press conferences, and everyone is asking a question, and I'm like sitting there, I'm just recording, depending on other people's questions. And I got tired of it because I'm not the most dumbest person out there. I have an opinion and I have things that So I decided, I had to, I need to push myself. So it was basically me pushing myself and starting doing interviews, starting asking questions, and after that, I could just ask questions on and just go on. So an interview for me can stand. If I think I could do it maybe in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I can hold someone there for the next half an hour or so.
Oh, and one thing too, when you're back from the camera and you do interview, if you have to editing, you know exactly what you have to do.
Yes, it makes editing much more easier. It makes even. Yeah, exactly. It makes the editing much more easier because even if you want to cut out certain things, exactly, and you know what to tell the person you're interviewing, how you want them to answer the questions also.
So what you think about Toastmaster in Bonaire right now? What we expect from you, of what you expect from them?
Well, like I said earlier, didn't really have much expectations per se. I try not to get too disappointed in things. So what I look for mostly is trying to get the best, the most important stuff, like, networking, meeting people, and also I like being surprised in some way. I don't like surprise parties, but I just like
Sometimes it's good.
sometimes it's good. I like not expecting too much, and then you guys like, wow, I wasn't really expecting that. But after hearing some of the speeches and so on, I think it's going to be a great Toastmaster international district Toastmaster meeting, and I'm hoping that at the end of everything, uh, the family comes together even more.
Always I say, example, I interview you and I'm do camera, but sometimes we just here to watch some program of some news. You say, what a God, what say this guy? They don't can tell him to do something. You will be see with the other eyes
Yes.
in the back from the camera.
Yes, being at the back of the camera, you see a lot of things. There's a whole lot of things that people who are in front don't see. Obviously, maybe by the time I look at this video, there's a lot of things I might see. I was like, jeez, or even maybe some of the words I use on my grammar, and so on and so on. So, but what you're doing both, listening to the sound, making sure it's okay, visualizing it, because maybe you might not be getting sound. So it's a lot that most people think is just by pressing a button. I say, oh yeah, just press the button and it's all good. And even in editing, it's the same problem. So, yeah.
Mr. Rodney, thanks you to talk to you. Enjoy your stay on Bonaire and be happy. If you don't smile, I send you back.